Nevada's top federal prosecutor secretly pushed the FBI to chase down discredited Republican voter fraud claims. Yeah, you heard that right. The very office sworn to uphold impartial justice allegedly acted as a political weapon. The U.S. attorney's seat in Nevada, not a backroom campaign lawyer, not a cable pundit, but the official face of federal law enforcement in the state. And what did she do? She leaned on the Bureau with data straight from the Nevada GOP. Data that experts had already shredded as baseless. Here's the kicker. The same prosecutor, Sigal Chattah, built her career as a Republican-aligned attorney before sliding into this powerful post. And now, her moves could rip open a full-blown Department of Justice ethics crisis. So let's rewind. Nevada became a flashpoint in the 2020 election when Trump's allies insisted thousands of undocumented immigrants and out-of-state voters had cast ballots. Courts reviewed the claims. Experts debunked them. Judges dismissed case after case. But the political narrative never died. Republican state operatives kept feeding evidence, spreadsheets, name lists, unverifiable tips to anyone willing to listen. Enter Sigal Chattah. Appointed as interim U.S. attorney, she wasn't supposed to be partisan. The DOJ's credibility depends on prosecutors staying above the political fray. Yet reports now confirm she urged the FBI to pursue those same GOP-supplied allegations. Even more alarming, she allegedly pushed to purge undocumented voters from Nevada's rolls, a move that would overwhelmingly hit Democratic groups. That's not just an investigative choice. That's a political strike. And this isn't a small procedural quibble. DOJ rules stress impartiality. Attorneys must avoid even the appearance of conflict. But Chattah's fingerprints, they go straight back to her old political work for Republican causes.
The revelation didn't just leak in a vacuum, it detonated in the middle of an already poisoned climate. Remember, Trump and his allies are still hammering the stolen election drum. State Republicans from Arizona to Georgia are running campaigns on election integrity. And now, headlines blast that a federal prosecutor in Nevada actively pushed those very claims inside the justice system. Reactions came fast. Ethics scholars told Reuters this raises profound impartiality concerns. DOJ veterans whispered about an explosive breach of trust. Democrats in Congress already drafting letters demanding oversight hearings. And Republicans, they're split. Some cheer the move as long overdue attention to fraud. Others worry it could backfire, undermining their own narrative if the FBI is seen chasing ghosts. Meanwhile, Chattah's appointment wasn't even permanent. Her interim term technically expired, but through a series of procedural maneuvers, she stayed in the chair. That only adds fuel. Was her extension engineered to keep a political loyalist in place during a crucial window? Here's the image you need to hold. A U.S. Attorney's Office, FBI agents in the room, a spreadsheet from the Nevada GOP on the table, and the federal prosecutor telling them, run it down. That's not speculation. That's what multiple sources confirm. And here's the kicker. DOJ leadership in Washington is now under pressure. If they back Chattah, they risk appearing complicit in partisan law enforcement. If they rein her in, they'll face accusations of covering up fraud. Either way, the system looks cracked. So what happens next? First, oversight. Democrats in the House and Senate are already eyeing hearings. Judiciary Committee members want answers. Did Chattah break DOJ ethics rules? Did the FBI actually pursue the GOP data? Was the Attorney General briefed? Every one of those questions drips with peril.
Second, credibility. The DOJ has spent years trying to claw back public trust after the Comey email debacle, after the Mueller probe, after Barr's interventions. And now, one state prosecutor's partisan push could throw the entire department back into the fire. Think about that. Third, the courts. If any investigation launched from Chattah's pressure, defense attorneys will pounce. This probe was poisoned from the start, they'll argue. Judges may toss evidence, dismiss indictments, or even sanction prosecutors. And if it escalates to Senate hearings, picture Republican senators grilling DOJ brass, Democrats accusing cover-ups, and the public left wondering whether justice still means justice. Even inside Nevada, fallout is brewing. Advocacy groups warn that targeting undocumented voters risks illegal voter suppression. Civil rights attorneys are preparing lawsuits, and Democratic operatives whisper about mobilizing Latino communities with a message they tried to erase your vote. And here's where the danger multiplies. If the FBI followed Chattah's lead, those case files could already be tainted. If they didn't, Republicans will scream about the Bureau ignoring fraud. Either path is a lose-lose for the Justice Department. But here's the part nobody's talking about. What happens if this actually goes forward? If the FBI files reflect partisan fingerprints, the DOJ enters uncharted territory. It's not just about Nevada anymore. It's about whether the Justice Department can even pretend to be neutral in the next election cycle. Think about what that means. For decades, DOJ prosecutors have been drilled on one golden rule: avoid even the appearance of bias. A U.S. attorney isn't supposed to act like a campaign lawyer. Yet Chattah's push blurs that line completely. She didn't just open a door, she kicked it down.
And history shows us the cost. Nixon pressured the DOJ to bury Watergate. The result? Mass resignations and a collapse of public trust. In the 1990s, independent counsel investigations against Clinton were blasted as partisan witch hunts. Each time, the Justice Department became less of a neutral referee and more of a political football. And each time, ordinary Americans lost confidence in the system that claims to deliver justice. Now fast forward to today. Trump has never abandoned the stolen election narrative. His allies repeat it at rallies. Republican operatives fundraise off it. And suddenly, they can point to Nevada's U.S. attorney and say, see, even the DOJ took our claims seriously. That legitimizes the very narrative that courts and experts rejected. Democrats see it differently. They argue it proves Trumpism has infiltrated the DOJ itself, that the justice system was hijacked for partisan ends. Both sides weaponize the same scandal. And the casualty? The DOJ's credibility, maybe for an entire generation. Already, Congressional Democrats are drafting oversight letters. They want hearings, they want testimony, and they want it fast. Expect names like Jerry Nadler, Dick Durbin, and Sheldon Whitehouse to surface in this fight. Each has hammered DOJ impartiality before, and this case is tailor-made for their outrage. On the Republican side, reactions split sharply. MAGA hardliners celebrate Chattah's move, proof that fraud concerns were real. But establishment Republicans worry. They know that if the probe is exposed as partisan, it risks backfiring, damaging not Democrats, but the entire conservative narrative on elections. Inside Nevada, activists are mobilizing. Civil rights groups warn that targeting undocumented voters equals voter suppression. Latino advocacy networks are preparing lawsuits, and Democratic operatives are already shaping their message. They tried to erase your vote.
Meanwhile, the FBI faces its own nightmare. If agents acted on Chattah's pressure, their investigations may now be tainted. If they ignored her, Republicans will accuse them of burying fraud. In other words, the Bureau loses no matter what. So what's next? 3 possible outcomes loom. Scenario 1. Oversight explodes. Senate hauls Chattah and DOJ leaders into public hearings. Televised clashes grip the country. Democrats paint her as corrupt. Republicans defend her as a truth seeker. The DOJ becomes the stage for partisan war, and every headline drips with conflict. Scenario 2. Quiet damage control. The DOJ could choose to bury this quietly. An internal review, a discreet resignation, a bland press release. We take ethics seriously. But in today's climate, silence equals cover-up. Garland would be accused of whitewashing, and public trust would crater even further. Scenario 3. Legal dominoes fall. If FBI probes linked to GOP data collapse in court, judges may throw out evidence or dismiss indictments.
Picture a fraud case dismissed not because the evidence was weak, but because the source of that evidence was tainted by partisan meddling. Headlines scream, "Justice compromised." And there's a darker possibility. If Chattah's actions set precedent, future administrations may plant loyalists in attorney posts precisely to weaponize investigations. Once normalized, it won't stop. Both parties will do it, and the justice system will no longer serve the public, it will serve power. So here we are. Nevada's interim U.S. Attorney, Sigal Chattah, urged the FBI to act on discredited Republican voter fraud claims using data from the Republican Party itself. She blurred the line between prosecutor and partisan. And now the Department of Justice, the nation's top law enforcement body, stares down an ethics crisis that could shake its legitimacy to the core.
The question is simple. Can the DOJ still claim to be impartial, or has it already crossed a line it can't come back from? Yeah, you heard that right. The very institution meant to protect democracy may have just endangered it. So I'll put it to you. Is this accountability, or is it theater? Do you still trust the DOJ, or do you think this scandal proves the system is broken beyond repair? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate isn't going away. And trust me, what happens in Nevada won't stay in Nevada. Like, share, and subscribe, because when the next hearing drops, when the next leak surfaces, you'll want to be the first to know. And this story, it's only just beginning.